Okay. I have a word. God is good. The narcissist's new supply is panicking. You're the one who carried the burden quietly. You were the one who fought behind the scenes. You covered the narcissist spiritually. You absorbed their chaos with a heart that still bent towards mercy. And even though you were slowly dying inside, you held on. Not because you were weak, but because you were loyal, because you believed love could heal what trauma had buried, because you believed in transformation, because you believed in redemption. But they, the new supply that is, didn't enter with that humility. They entered with pride. They believed the narcissist version of events, that you were unstable, too sensitive, too dramatic. They believed they were superior simply because they came after you. They don't speak it out loud, but the questions grow louder in their mind. Is this who they really are? Why do I feel like I'm losing myself? Why can't I breathe anymore? They begin to isolate, to search for words like toxic, gaslighting, narcissistic abuse, trying to name what their soul can already feel. This isn't love. It never was. It was imitation. It was control. It was possession dressed up as connection. And now it's devouring them from the inside out. And still, they can't tell anyone, because who would believe them? They were so loud in their confidence, so bold in dismissing you, so proud in their parade. How do you go back and confess you were wrong? How do you look at the broken pieces and admit they never changed? I was just next. When you first went silent, forgive me. When you first went silent, they assumed it was part of the cycle, another game, another emotional trick, another tactic to get their attention. But days passed, then weeks, and still nothing. No response, no call, no post, no explanation. That's when the panic set in, because your silence wasn't passive, it was intentional. And when you withheld your words, you also withheld your light, your prayer, your spiritual presence, all the things they never valued until they vanished. The narcissist and the new supply both began to feel the void. What they once interpreted as weakness now felt like distance they couldn't cross. You were no longer in reach. You were no longer in reach, not just physically, but spiritually. And that distance was cold, defining, holy, deafening, holy. That when it began to, that's when it began to sting. That's when it began to sting, because your silence said what your voice no longer needed to. Amen. That's the word. Ain't gotta add nothing to that.